because we have a new client, and it's something that you guys are going to love because Oregon is huge in wine. And this is a client, a new client, and Tabitha Compton called me up and said, "We love what you do. We love your show. We want to be a part of this. We want to help sponsor you and what you're doing." And they're also going to give you guys a deal on wine, which is really good. So since I'm in Montana and they're in Philomath, Oregon, Tim Schley joins us. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Rick.
So Tim works with me. He's the one who's the brains behind the operation. Well, my wife is first brain, and then Tim, and then I'm just like the face that's here. But Tim has shot a bunch of video today. So Compton Family Wine, tell me a little bit more about what you saw there today.
Rick, there's all kinds of stuff going on here today. They're bottling. It's a small family winery. They practice regenerative farming. You know, goats running around all over the place, which we'll probably show you in the future. It's super cool. I'm here with Tabitha and Amaris, and today I think we're going to try some wine that's actually been brewed in these concrete eggs that you can see behind me. Except,
you know what? I don't think that you brew wine.
Ferment?
You're a beer drinker like me. You said that and I'm going, that's what I would say. Yeah, I think you ferment it. So everything happens in these eggs behind you. So give me Tabitha and Amaris. This is great. Thanks, Tim. Hello, you guys. Hey, welcome.
Hi. Yeah, thanks. Excited to be a part of this.
I'm so glad you guys called. So tell me about that egg behind you, because I got to see it in person. Yeah, look at Amaris. She's like, this is Carol Merrill showing us the egg. So what's that made out of?
Concrete, yeah, it's thick walls, I don't know, almost a foot. It's a more kind of a natural way of winemaking, that the wine goes, this is our Chardonnay egg, and the wine goes in there during fermentation. It naturally circulates through fermentation. So as it settles, then it gives off some leaves that settle down the side. But because of the vortex and the shape, the wine moves and it stays naturally cold because of the thick walls. Some people think there's a liner. There's actually not a liner. They've been making wine in concrete rectangular vats ever since they kind of started making wine, but the shape is new. So it's just a few years old. They have different sizes. This one is, both of them, these two are 275 cases is what they hold. And it's kind of fun. I call it, it's more user-friendly of Chardonnay. I'm not a big, my husband and I aren't big Chardonnay drinkers, but what we like about it is it gives off more of a soft creaminess and not a lot of oak, so it gives more of the fruit flavors in a Chardonnay. And then we also have another concrete egg that we do it all Pinot Noir in it too.
So you're at the tasting table and you hear people's comments. What is it they like so much about Compton Family Wines?
Oh man, people really like this for exactly what you were talking about. They don't love the oakiness of Chardonnay, and they like to be able to taste the grape in a totally different way. So they also really love Compton Family Wines because of the regenerative agriculture practices, and that it's a family establishment. And it truly is that. Even with our wine club members, we have one of the most loyal wine club groups of over 500 wine club members, because Tabitha and Matt have been doing this for 20 years, and they made this a place where people can come and be a family. Even throughout the last 2 years, people have been coming here to pick up their wine club memberships, and it's just like seeing family members. It's so cool.
And you guys are located right on the highway right there in Philomath.
Yeah, we're right downtown. The winery is, and where we do all the production. So we have over 10,000 square feet of that we actually do all the production here. And then our vineyards are about 10 minutes south of us. So in between Eugene and Philomath.
So Tabitha, why do you do this? What do you love about making wine and doing it the regenerative way?
Well, I just told somebody at the bank today, like there's a new gal working. If you work and you love what you're doing, every day seems like a vacation. And I do. I love what I do. There's never a dull moment. I do everything from everything. Wake up in the morning, I'm out with the animals and work the tasting room, and my husband and I do too. We have some great staff, and it's really my husband and I and a couple staff members, and we are a 10,000 case winery, and it's fun because it's never a dull moment. I do our national sales, local sales, as well as our wine club, so it's always fun.
All of the events. Tabitha does everything, and raising 3 teenage boys. These two never sleep. I swear they're doing everything, and they're really into the community here. They do a lot of local combinations with food and local restaurants selling local food here. They're really all about keeping the community in their winery, which is awesome.
So even when I met your family, one of your sons actually makes kombucha and soda or something, right?
Yeah, all the above. Yeah, I don't know if I can legally say this, but yeah, he was selling soda at school, all for Christmas. He didn't want anything for Christmas. He wanted different soda bottles and the heater for the kombucha. So yeah, he's following his dad's footsteps by doing all these fermentation things. And
so what did you do before you started the winery?
Matt and I met on a blind date, but he was brewing beer. He moved out from New Jersey and worked for Oregon State, has a research vineyard, and he didn't get the job because he knew how to grow grapes. He got the job because he knew how to drive a tractor. So he's most in the farming on the wine side. And then I was a horse trainer, so it doesn't make sense at all. And then I started working in the winery. Matt and I were always kind of doing a lot of it, but we were amateur winemakers for a while, worked for a couple other larger wineries, and then we started the winery in 2003.
So you're doing a lot of online sales, so people from all over the country can purchase your wine and get it shipped to them, right?
And we have a special for your clientele, your buddies of Rick Dancer. If you go to our website, Compton Wines /Rick, there's a whole page there. If people want to get $15 off their online orders, they can do that. If they join our email, they'll get the promo code. Yeah, in the summertime, we are on our expanded hours, which is Thursdays through Sundays, noon to 5. And we have over 20 different wines that we have available, and we rotate what we have on pour every month. There's a little tasting fee comped if you spend $20.
Which is one bottle. It's pretty, their prices here are amazing, especially for the wine that they make. I always say Matt makes the best Pinot Noir in the state. That's my humble opinion. He's a humble farmer, but he's an incredible winemaker, and they never gouge their customers. The highest price bottle is $40, and that's an old vine, 40-year-old vine Pinot Noir from 2018, and it's outstanding. So it's really, $15 is actually quite a nice little gift. You can get an excellent bottle of wine and save a little money there, but send people in to taste, because like she said, we have so many varieties on pour, and we rotate those every month. So for $15, you get 7 to 9 wines to taste. And then if you buy a $20 wine, your tasting is free.
Did Tim get to taste any of it?
He tasted the Chardonnay, but yeah, we could get him tasting all day and keep him here all day.
Oh,
There's so many.
Rick, I could hang out here for a while, but I'd have a problem getting home.
Yeah, you'd have to get a cab ride. Okay, good. So Tabitha, what are you hoping to get out of this relationship? You, me.
With you?
You, me, and the wine.
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I'm just excited to support you and what you're doing. Even though you moved to Montana, I support that. I love that you're reaching out to local communities and all the other businesses. I love learning about all the different things you're supporting, but also just driving people to know about us. We used to be called Spindrift Cellars in the beginning of 2020. We rebranded. So that was a difficult time to rebrand. So in being in 20 years of business and then rebranding, I feel like we're trying to get our name back out there with Compton Family Wine. So we want to invest in you and what you're doing, but also be able to share with what we have going on with our wines.
All right. So you're located in Philomath, and it has to say something about you. I think that you put your name on it now. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, what are we going to call it? Well, you know what? We make dang good wine. Let's put our name on it, you know?
All right, true.
You know what I mean? I think that's a really cool thing. Well, we appreciate your support, and we love the fact that we have a winery. When we open our Airbnb, I want to get your wine out here so I can have my guests, when they come in, I'll have a bottle of wine that they get to have when they come to the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And it'll be an Oregon wine in Montana, because there's not a lot of wineries in Montana.
No, one of my best customers is in Montana. They actually have an old farm stand and doing a regenerative farming and homesteading there too. They used to live over on this side, moved over there. So I love talking to them.
It's a huge state.
But I follow them on Facebook, and I love because they have the similar pigs that we have out in the vineyard, and they have sheep and doing the eggs and chickens and vegetables, and I love learning about them.
You're really into that, aren't you? The regenerative farming. I mean,
yeah.
Why?
It's kind of the old, well, it's the new old thing. So it's the way that people used to farm, using less input, less tractors. You use tractors, but a lot of even the regenerative farming, they're going back to the old tractors and not the GPS tracking and such, so we can fix our own tractors because we can't get parts. So the little things, but also you're working the ground from the ground up, the soil, restoring, regenerative farming, and getting the microbiomes in the soil healthy. So we're not actually adding a lot of inputs, are using our animals out there to do the natural manure on the ground. So yeah, there's a lot to it, but it's also just more simplifying the farming and using what we have and not utilizing more of what we can't get.
Do you think
Not
that's
to
what we,
say that the soil is the most important thing for the good wine and good food. I mean, you know that. So soil is really huge. So that regenerative process rebuilds the soil and adds all those things back in that we've been missing for many years. And a lot of soil in America needs to be regenerated in that way.
And
do you think,
what it tells is that in the food system, and we're kind of overdoing it by wanting to put the effort into our grapes, but it increases the quality of our grapes. But also what it does in our food system is gives us more nutritious foods if we buy regenerative. And when I can't find regenerative, I do organic, but that is actually quite a bit of inputs too, the more I've actually learned about us doing the regenerative farming. So
do you think people, there's, especially with all that's gone on the last couple of years, that we're craving simplicity? We want, you know, I was listening to Joe Rogan this morning and he was talking about a guy who has sourdough bread because sourdough bread has less gluten in it and it has the right kind of gluten in it. And this recipe, the starter came from 1918. And he said, this guy sells bread like you wouldn't believe because he's going back to those. And do you think there's something inside of us that just craves that?
totally, yeah. It's funny you should say there's a sourdough because I actually have a whole sourdough recipe because we live off sourdough and we make bread like a couple times a week from our sourdough starter. But yeah, I know it is. We have I bred Maremma sheepdogs and I'm trying to sell my puppies that I have. And there's so many farms out there that people are looking for dogs and different animals that they're wanting to have on their homesteading farms that you just purchased within the last couple of years. So definitely.
Okay, well, gosh, this is going to be really interesting. I am so glad to have both of you here. Tim, thanks for running up there. And then we'll have some video that they shot next week we'll be putting out there. You know, Tabitha, I think part of what we should do is you should give us little tips like that on regenerative, things people can do. I'm talking business here on a live thing, but who cares? But things people can do to simplify their life. That would be, I think people would really resonate with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to I'll edit this down, talk to you guys later, and we'll see you tonight live. All right. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Rick.
See you guys later.